Now, the fifth point says provides employment. Infrastructure helps in generating employment. Many people gets employment in infrastructural projects like construction, maintenance of roads, railways, electricity plants, etc. Many more are able to find employment in industry and trade after the development of strong infrastructure. So, as I said, these banking facility, hospital facility, educational facility, then this power generation, okay, this transport facility, banking, all these are employing huge amount of people. So the infrastructural facility provides employment to many people. Facilitates outsourcing. A country with advanced infrastructural facility is able to reap benefits from outsourcing work. India is emerging as a global destination for BPOs, KPOs, call centers, etc. due to IT support system and sound infrastructure. So, as our country is advanced with infrastructural facility, so we are, just as we have discussed in the earlier chapter of LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization chapter. So, outsourcing work has tremendously increased in India. India has emerged as a global destination for BPOs, KPOs, call centers because we have huge number of engineers as well as English speaking youth, those who are providing these IT services. Okay, and so this IT services is provided by our human resource, that is our engineers, okay, and the good English speaking youth. Next is the state of infrastructure in India. So earlier, the government has been solely responsible for developing the country's infrastructure. However, due to inadequacy of government's investment in infrastructure, private sector in joint partnership with the public sector has started playing a very important role in infrastructural development. So earlier, the government was responsible for the development of infrastructure development of the country. But inadequacy of government's investment in this, the private sector has come in joint partnership with the public. Means private has come in joint partnership with the public, that is the government sector, and has started playing a very important role in the development of the infrastructure of the country. A majority of our people live in rural areas. Okay, despite so much technical progress in the world, rural women still use biofuel such as crop residues, dung, and fuel wood to meet their energy requirements. About 90% of the rural household use biofuels for cooking. So, in spite our country has made so much technical progress, but still a large portion of the population lives in rural areas. And what do they use? They use crop residues, dung, and fuel wood to meet their energy requirements for cooking and other purposes. So about 90% of the rural household use biofuels for cooking. Rural people have to travel long distances to fetch fuel, water, and other basic need. As per Census 2001, only 56% of the rural households had electricity connection. So very less households have electricity connection, and they have to travel long distances to fetch water and for their other basic needs. Tap water is only limited to only 24% of the rural household, and the remaining households make use of the open sources of water like wells, tanks, ponds, etc. Improved sanitation is only 20%, available to only 20% rural households. It is widely understood that infrastructure is the foundation of development. India invests very less on infrastructure, so India needs a boost to it. Unless proper attention is paid, infrastructure development will not be proper. So in any country, as the income rises, the infrastructure requirements also increases. For low-income countries, basic infrastructure like irrigation, transport, and power are more important. But if the country's income is rising, like in our country, industrial sector is developing, tertiary sector is developing, so we have got lots and lots of requirements. However, the low-income countries where these other sectors are not much improved, for them the basic infrastructure service like irrigation, transport, and power is important. As economies mature and most of their basic consumption demands are met, the share of agriculture in the economy shrinks and more service related infrastructure is required. This is why the share of power and telecommunication is greater in high income countries. For low income countries, these are the basic needs like irrigation, transport, and power. Why low income countries? Because they are mainly dependent on agriculture. Industrial and service sector is not much developed there, so for them these three are the only requirements. But if any country has high income, if any country's income is going on rising, the requirements also changes. Now the requirement changes from the agriculture sector to other infrastructure related requirements. And so that is why, that is power, that is the energy and energy generation and telecommunication are the most important infrastructure in the high income countries. Telecommunication and the power are the most important, because the importance in case of high income countries now then shifts from agriculture to these two things. Okay, now remember children, energy is deleted. This energy is deleted. Okay, so please cut it in your books also. Next class we will be starting with the health. Okay, thank you children.